One thing some people seem to be very afraid of is overtraining. They're afraid they're going to train too hard, too often, and then they're going to lose muscle and gain fat and undo all the progress they've made and feel terrible, all because they went to the gym one too many times a week. Don't be afraid of that. The danger of overtraining has really been overstated by some people in the fitness industry. And overtraining is also not what it sounds like. It is actually not caused by just working out too often. It's caused by an accumulation of physical, chemical, environmental, and psychological and neurological stress, all of which combine to overload your body's ability to adapt and repair itself. And it takes a lot to overtrain. For someone to really overtrain primarily from working out too much, they have to be working out 20 or 30 hours a week. That's mainly seen in pro-level athletes or sometimes people in the military. More often it happens because someone is not only working out a lot, but more importantly, sleeping 5 hours a night, eating way too little, and has an extremely stressful life. It's not going to happen just because you work out too much on any kind of normal training program, and it's definitely not going to happen with this program. And another thing I want to note here, a lot of other people in the fitness industry have pushed back against this and said there's no such thing as overtraining, there's only under-recovering. And I only half agree with that too, because here's my thoughts on this is training is largely body part specific, meaning when you train your chest, the stress of that is mostly going to your chest. A leg press is mainly stressing your legs and butt. There's some truth to the idea that the hormonal response from training causes it to have a general body-wide effect, but that is not a stress response. Like training your legs is never going to cause your upper body to get overtrained, for instance. Whereas recovery, like eating and sleeping, that is not specific to any given body part. That is body-wide. So the reality is that if you train too hard, you're not going to get quote-unquote overtraining, meaning your whole body feels bad. Instead, if you train too hard, what's going to happen is individual body parts are going to show signs of it. Individual body parts will start to lose strength, and you'll notice you regress on some, but not all of your exercises. Whereas under eating, under sleeping, being stressed out, under recovering, that's what's going to cause the systemic effect where you regress on all of your lifts and you feel terrible. So if that happens, if you get signs of what most people call overtraining, most likely you've just gotten sick and it's got nothing to do with the fitness program, but you need to eat more, you need to sleep more. Maybe you need to eat more if you're really under eating, and you should count calories for a couple days to make sure your caloric deficit is somewhere between 500 and 1,000 calories a day. Maybe you need to drink more water. Very likely you need to cut down on the amount of stress in your life, whether that's from work or home or whatever. And then if you're actually overtraining at the gym, then the thing to do is, first off, don't assume that any kind of plateau that you hit is due to overtraining. It is entirely normal to have a period of a week or two where you don't progress on some of your lifts. That happens just due to random variations. Maybe you hit the gym a few days in a row, just low on energy. But if that persists for more than a couple weeks, then maybe you are genuinely starting to plateau on that body part. And the thing to do there is actually to increase the frequency with which you train that body part, but train it for less volume in each workout, meaning you're getting about the same volume, but more recovery between sets because you're splitting it up more. And one last note I want to give you on this is I've already taken this into account in designing this course, in particular because this course starts you out with relatively low intensity, low frequency workouts and gradually ramps that up. So over time, your body develops more resistance to the damage incurred by training, and you're able to train more often. So as long as you start out easy and gradually ramp things up, you should be fine. But if you develop signs of both overtraining, meaning you start to get one body part plateau, then another, and then you get signs of systemic overtraining, meaning you just feel like shit overall, then you should eat a little bit more, sleep more, and take a week off from the gym. It's very unlikely this will happen. It should never happen more than once every 3 months, and if it does, you actually have a different problem and it's not your training. But if that happens occasionally, just recover a little bit better, take a week off from working out, and you'll be fine. But always keep to the diet so that you keep losing fat.